All right, so this video is going to be on WeiWei. I wanted to really focus on this jungler in particular because you cannot make Worlds Finals without good jungling. It's the same if you were to say like you can't make like the Stanley Cup Finals without good goaltending. It is very much like that for League, um, and he is a big reason his team is even here in the first place because he makes some pretty smart reads and map play. So let's go ahead and get into it. So to start off, I want to make this only his vision. They ward this here. You'll see in a second. So they ward this here. They do this mostly because, you know, on the off chance that Lee does 3 camps, right? Like 3 camps, and then he comes through mid. It's Ari, Lee, right? Like these 2 champs. That will give him a fair shot. Next, he had his teammates stacking here. They're playing again, Kalista, Renata. You should be a little bit scared. So level 1 plan overall, good. So he starts bot side. It's Yone versus Aatrox. It's a pretty spicy matchup if Yone wants to make it that way. He will naturally get push if Aatrox lets him. So basically, since Aatrox can't land the initial Qs, and it's also just Zeus not letting him be able to do it anyways, Zeus gets pushed. So he does his full red, right? Piling up. These guys just have to soak pressure versus them. It is what it is. This guy is able to get push. That's like pretty natural. He's gonna find Lee Sin invading him, right? Now, of course, he can't fight. Like, he's gonna lose the 1v1. This guy's gonna crash this wave and move. This guy can technically crash, and he's trying to fight with his HP on mid a little bit, and it's not working out. So he kind of has to just take it. It is what it is, you know? He ends up losing his wolves. He can't do his blue because Yone's in his face. His mid laner just got like screwed. So his mid laner has to base. And they know that like he's not going to go down here, right? It's very obvious. Like he won't move down here because, well, you guessed it. They have push down here. Ari's still here. Lee's here. Makes no sense. So most likely what T1's thinking is like he's going to do the crab. Okay? He'll do the crab. What he does instead is this guy still has to crash. It's a very quick timer. And they also know that Faker used his flash to do a charm. So he actually makes a quick play on mid and gets a kill. Really great heads up play. You can see where Lee Sin is. Like, he was already on his blue. Like, in his head, he's thinking, my Ari, he's just going to finish this wave real quick. You know, the Maokai's probably on crab. We're fine. Quick play. Awesome. So knowing this, he's like, okay, you know, if this guy was attacking me on my blue buff, the only way he does that is obviously if he does his full red camps. His Raptors might be up. So he checks it, and he's actually able to steal this, which is huge. Now he's actually getting something back after losing his wolves. Awesome. This guy, at the same time, wards here. Why? He most likely, WeiWei told Zhao, hey, you should probably ward my Raptors, because since I took his, if this guy spots this, naturally he's going to want to try to contest this, right? And now all his goal is to just finish these 2 camps, base, and he's fine. Now watch how this goes on the bot side. So these guys are going to have this position here, right? They're matching base. They can't even push out anyways or else they'll just get cheesed. So they just accept that. This guy runs here to defend the Raptors camps. So again, I'm going to assume it's off WeiWei talking about this, but they create a team plan to defend his Raptors. Amazing. Okay? They save the Raptors really good. Mid, he's okay. Top, like semi-struggling. He takes 2 camps. You look at bot side, it's like, okay, this looks hard. Like, he can throw a sapling. He can maybe try to get a little bit more here. But the problem is, like, he doesn't know where Lee is. Like, there's all this vision. If he walks in and makes a wrong move, it's really bad. And these guys also have full sums, and he doesn't have flash. So the chances of really, like, this being a play is really unlikely. So he leaves. Cool. The crab is up. Again, doesn't have mid push. Top is like kind of even. He could, in theory, sit here and not even throw the sapling. And then when Ari walks up, he'll try to engage on her. But again, you have to factor in the fact that, like, if you look at these champs, like, this guy has this guy has Spirit Rush, right? Let's get rid of that. He has Spirit Rush. If he goes on Ari, there's a chance that he could just die straight up to Lee. If he can get away, it'd be amazing. And this is probably the one play I would say in the game that he could really change up in the end. Because if you think about it, like I said, if Lee is here, for whatever reason, he sits here, and then Ari moves in, and he goes on them, and then the Jace has to follow up, maybe they can get something, but it's a little dicey. So he doesn't take the risk, okay? Fine. Doesn't take the risk. Does his wolves. He knows these guys are on crab. He's a little sapling for this guy. Fair. Now he's looking at bot lane, he's like, okay, this is still, like, not going the best. And also keep in mind, even though his Gromp's going to come up, the objective in their head right now is playing for Herald. So if he wants to play for Herald, he's a little off 6. He needs level 6 to even remotely contest this. This guy's like 75% HP, which is like not the most ideal. Now at this point, he's not too far off from 6. You know, we'll see where Raptors places him. Takes him to about this much. So he should probably soak the wave at this point if they want to contest this. Of course, at the same time, yeah, these guys could definitely just be on it. And since the enemy bot lane had first base, you know, it's already an awkward contest. Now, if he showed up here with Jace, they took this wave together, he got level 6, maybe they could contest it. And that's like the main difference, because he goes to Gromp to try to hit 6. But by doing it this way, it's like really awkward, because at this, like, if you look at this, he already took Herald. And now these guys should never be here, by the way. Like, if he goes here, it's called off. These guys should have already been running bot and, like, starting the next play. So this sucks for his team. This really hampers their ability to, like, kind of snowball. That sucks. So he sees this, and he's like, okay, well, he has Herald, and he just dipped into bot side. And obviously, you know, based on them using CDs and stuff like that, the chances of them actually trying to make another play after that is not too high. And he activates Sweeper. He had the pinks already. And now they do ping it. And this is really important to note. The idea of this was smart. He just has to not Sweeper this because they were paying attention to it and pinging it. But the idea is right. Because, you know, even if Lee has Herald, right? Like, Lee's like going for this. Like, again, they want a base. Like, they don't want to just, like, sit on the map. They'll use the Herald on the next timer. So you're safe on bot. So this is a free play top. And assuming, you know, Zeus does not do this, like, Zeus would be fine. But he does. And it actually nets him this play. This chance play, which is very important, keep in mind, because, you know, their team's struggling in this matchup a little bit so far. Like, they're kind of losing some momentum. They have enemy team has first dragon, they have first Herald. So he's actually able to get this and a crab. Amazing. Really good for him. So now he has to be prepared for dealing with the next set of plays, which is basically the enemy Herald play. Right? It's hard to get vision. It's hard to, like, take over. So going through bot is a complete no-no, right? Complete no-no. He has ulti backup, which means he has a bunch of pressure to actually apply here. So I'm going to assume he calls over support and, like, okay, we need to, like, get this, by the way. Which is great. So, good, simple solution. Just trying to contest, especially getting, like, bot river vision for Dragon. But, unfortunately, these guys are ready to just answer. Can't really do anything about it, right? Like, they're still not really that strong. They Herald mid, and it's like, I can't do anything about that. I'm just going to take the Krugs. Okay? And if he looks at bot side, it's like, again, I can't contest through bot. It's kind of hard to contest through mid. So be it. Now, this is where it gets a little dicey. So, his mid is not here yet. His top laner, they're trading, like, pretty hard, and they know there's a ward here. So, the natural assumption would be that he should go through lane, and then if something happens, they can make it work, right? But he goes through here and shows to clear this ward in their face and creates this awkward situation. And also because Ari's first on base and she can move first, there is also a little worry, and she has TP, right? So there's some certain things about this situation that could be really awkward for WeiWei. Especially because he also has no flash. So if he gets caught, he should, in theory, die. But he's able to get his R off right when Yon uses R, and then get a nice Q, and they turn it around. And now WeiWei's in yet another good position. And also, it's just worth noting when looking at this again. Watch. So he gets his R off. This guy kicks him. Didn't have to kick him because there was really no threat. So technically, you know, if owner doesn't do this, WeiWei's dead. But he makes a mistake. Again, they can't, like, I'll just say right now that WeiWei is in a situation where they need the enemy to, like, make mistakes or create situations where they might make mistakes because it's just hard to play the game. So the draft is definitely not favorable for the Maokai to play out. So naturally, he's just going to take his red, right? Second Herald is coming up. All this is perfectly fine. Now, keep in mind, enemy duo based first. This guy is in a good position with Gore. He cleared this ward, and Lee Sin showed in here. Which means that, in theory, he should just be chilling out. Just chill out. Don't do too much. Your team is actually doing fine. He's going to take these 2 camps, and then they can actually properly get vision for once, right? But guess what? No one did the math. The Shy did not do the math. These guys based first, again, for the most part. Right? I mean, this guy actually based late. Where did he base? So in theory, he would have based first. I'll just say that much. So he shows here, right? So if Kallista's late on her base, that means the only people who can even apply pressure at this point are who? He based late too. Okay, so he's second, and he's second. So knowing this is the first time in the game they can get this. This is huge. This is the turning point. This is where Maokai with Demonic and the entire game in his hands can actually do something finally. And they will actually be able to play the game in bot lane for the first time. What happens, unfortunately, is again, like I said, they showed lead top. And T1 does this quick play because they know they're not going to get this. They actually knew they weren't get this. And they do this top play. The Shy doesn't think about it and he dies. But again, here's WeiWei. He's ready to block any kind of movement. His teammates are not really, like, thinking about it. Like, this guy's not even thinking about it. He's not even thinking about it. Like, they're not clearly, like, moving for this. He goes in, gets a W, gets his R, Q cancels the Q, and they pick up a kill. And he even executes himself. So WeiWei, even though he has a losing top matchup, he has an even mid matchup that needs to scale, and a losing bot matchup, so the enemy Lee has a lot of plays to kind of just run around, take dragons, take core objectives, fight the Maokai. WeiWei was still able to find a way to literally get plays in top, a play on mid, and get to the team to a point where at 14 minutes, they actually would have been able to control bot for the first time, and their comp would really start coming online for the first time, and they could have a chance play to get something better. He got his team to this position. And of course, I would say Light also helped out, you know, moving and defending some situations, but I assume WeiWei was calling this. So this was a pretty good first game for him, even outside of, like, you know, the sweeper mistake, maybe going through mid to get the ward or to get level 6, and even the top thing where he, like, went through the brush that was warded versus through lane. Outside of those 3 things, pretty good game for him.